Good day, distinguished Pan-Africans and leaders across the continent and the world at large. My name is Lateef Oladimeji Salam. I'm the Continental Head of African Youth for Development Commission, AYDEC. AYDEC is a Pan-African youth movement which has active structures across 38 African countries. We are bringing you this message in view of the pandemic which is ravaging across the globe today. There's no doubt that the world is going through a global pandemic which is very, very unusual. There's these global inconveniences that we are experiencing now, which is unlike what we used to experience at a time. The Covid-19, that is the coronavirus, has taken toll on so many things across the world: the economy, personal lives, public spaces, and a series of things that are very, very unimaginable. On this note, the African Youth for Development Commission brings this message of hope to everyone across the world. We need to understand that COVID-19 has no color. It gives no regards to political affiliations. It gives no regards to religious inclinations or tribal attachments. COVID-19 ravages across every part of the world, regardless of the status of such country or the people therein, or even the public spaces itself. And it's taking toll on us as at today. The message African Youth for Development Commission is bringing to the world is that this shall soon pass. This will pass if you and I do the needful by coming together. In our togetherness and unison, we can mitigate the effects of the coronavirus as it is being seen across the world today, or probably we even combat it to a stop. This is very, very possible, and that's our belief at AYDEC. African Youth for Development Commission, AYDEC, recently at our last Continental Executive Council meeting, we have set up a Continental Task Force, that's a CTF, on behalf of all members across the continent. And all country representatives are automatic members of this Continental Task Force for COVID-19. In each country, our members will be responding actively and swiftly to cases that has to do with COVID-19 in collaboration with the government of such countries and relevant authorities to ensure that the youth are also actively involved and working rigorously towards seeing how we mitigate the effects or even put a stop to this pandemic across the world. Our message is that we want this pandemic to pass as soon as possible, because by this alone we can have a peaceful world. The world as at now is in a cold war with a virus which has caused devastating effects beyond our imagination. On this note, we'll be pushing up some hashtags soonest, and they'll be coming with so many messages like slow the spread, flatten the curve, and other things like that. We aim to use the active number that AYDEC has across the continent. Our members in their thousands across the continent will be doing this at the same time, and that would be one of our own contributions towards seeing how we mitigate the effect of coronavirus in Africa and the world at large. As at today, the World Health Organization had reported about 2,416,135 confirmed cases of coronavirus across the world, with about 165,939 deaths ravaging, across the world. This is just too much for us to bear as a people. It's too much for us to bear as someone who has human feelings and feels concerns for every other person in the world. At AYDEC, we will be joining government authorities, relevant authorities, health workers across all the 38 African countries where we have our presence, to see how we team together to put a stop to this ravaging effect of coronavirus in the globe. On this note, we also sympathize with the relatives, families, friends, colleagues, and government authorities in charge of those who had lost their lives across the world. More so, we want to implore all our members, Africans and non-Africans alike across the world, to ensure that we take to the required regulations like the social distancing and washing of our hands regularly, using hand sanitizers, and staying at home if we don't have essential things to do as recommended by government authorities, so as to see how we curtail this COVID-19 effects to time. We also implore all our members to take to the regulations of the World Health Organizations and relevant authorities and federal governments in your countries to ensure that we all combat these effects, the virus, to time. AYDEC will be having a Twitter session soonest, which will be coordinated by all members across the continent simultaneously at the same time. We will push an announcement to this as the time approaches. And we'll also be having a webinar to host youths, young persons across the continent, so as to see how we sensitize our members on the need to prevent themselves against this pandemic. Lastly, we want to say this, that achieving the Africa we want comes with a lot of perseverance, comes with a lot of sacrifice, and this is just one of it. Whatever it requires us to give to ensure that we stop this pandemic, we shall all give it as it requires towards achieving the Africa we want. Our message to you all is that this shall soon pass. Stay safe and stay at home. Thank you very much.